Steph Curry just turned 35, and Klay Thompson is in his second year back from both an ACL and Achilles injury. But yet these two players are still walking buckets. I mean, splash after splash after splash. There's nothing these two can't do when it comes to shooting from beyond the arc. And the scary truth about this is there's also nothing anybody can do to stop them. I'm serious. Every game, the most skilled and athletic defenders in the world are hounding TC2 for 48 straight minutes. And yet, when you look up at the scoreboard in fourth quarter, at least one of them, if not both, have put up at least 30 points, sometimes 40. And heck, even a 50-point game isn't out of the realm of ordinary for these two. But have you ever wondered, how the heck are they still doing this? I mean, like I said, one of them is 35 years old now, and the other one hadn't won, but two of some of the most devastating injuries that basketball players could get. Well, you're in luck, because today I'm going to get into all of this and show just exactly why the Splash Brothers are still absolutely unguardable in 2023. It all starts off with marksmanship. Marksmanship. It's not a secret that Steph Curry is greatest shooter the NBA has ever seen. I mean, when he crossed Ray Allen's record in December of 2021, he was officially crowned as the GOAT when it comes to shooting. But have you ever wondered who number 2 is? Well, take a look at this. It's a list of players who made the most three-point shots in NBA history. At the very top, it's Curry. Followed by Ray Allen, followed by James Harden, followed by Reggie Miller. And if you keep going down the list, Klay Thompson isn't too far behind at number 11 with 2,164 threes as of today. Now, he probably would be at about 2,700-ish if he wasn't out for 2 years due to injury. But even still, if I had to bet money, I'd say he'll still cross the 3,000 mark by the time his career ends. And just like Steph, he'll leap over both Reggie Miller and Ray Allen in total three-point makes. I'd like to say Klay would end up at number 2. But with James Harden and Damian Lillard still active these list and ahead of him, I'll say that Klay will at least be number 4 when it comes to total three-point buckets made in NBA history, but with better efficiencies than number 2 and number 3. So, to be honest, when you take in both volume and efficiency, at the current rate, Klay will be the second best three-point shooter in NBA history. Sheesh guys, talk about a cheat code for Golden State. I mean, to have two of the best shooters ever to grace the NBA floor at the same time, that's just not fair anyway. For the 2023 season. Check this out. The Splash Brothers make more three-point shots per game than any other player in the league. And on top of that, when it comes to high volume, they're the most efficient as well. For all 7 players who attempt more than 9 three-point shots per game, Steph and Klay are the only 2 players who are averaging over 40%. Here's something else that's interesting. 2. Aside from the corner threes, these 2 barely take their threes on the line. I mean, just look at these 2 charts. This one is Curry's, and this one is Klay''s. When it comes to shooting threes from the top of the arc or on the wings, they're shooting it from at least 3 feet from beyond the 24-foot line. So because it's a lot further, defenders have a tougher time getting to them to contest the shot, especially with the quick release they have. I mean, the ball is sometimes in their hands for only a split second before it's on its way to the basket. Talk about unguardable. Anyway, next off, it's not just because of their shooting abilities that defenders become completely overwhelmed. It's also because they never stop moving. I mean, if you watched any recent Warriors game, you realize that they're still just always on the run. It doesn't matter if they have the ball in their hands or not. They're always in constant motion. And if they're not moving, they're usually just waiting for the defender to go to sleep for a second so they could cut towards the basket or get an open 3. Take this play, for example. Kawhi Leonard, one of the elite defenders in the game today, is on Steph. He thought the play was already over and didn't have eyes on number 30. But that was all Steph needed to get a split second of daylight to knock down a 3. Anyway, this leads directly to my next point. There are 2 personnel on the team who maketh us 2 go from great shooters to deadly assassins. I'm talking about Draymond Green and Kevin Looney. Basketball is a team sport, and these 2 don't get enough credit for being some of best screeners in the game. I mean, they consistently give both Steph and Klay wide open shots. And they're an important reason why the 2 of them are still unguardable in 2023. Because, look, how are you supposed to stop them when you have 2 people who specialize in preventing you from reaching them? At any rate, here's another area that doesn't nearly get talked about enough. These two become incredibly difficult to guard when they are both on the floor at the same time and setting screens for one another. Take this play. For example, Steph initially has the ball up top, but then gives it up to Looney. From here, Steph goes and sets the screen for Clay. And at this point, the defenders don't know what to do. Steph's original defender has to stick on him. Otherwise, he'll leave the greatest shooter of all Timmy open. And his coaches will yell at him then. As for the other defender, at this point, because Steph's screen already stops Clay's defender, Hess already out of the play, then this literally becomes a practice drill for the second best shooter of all time. Sheesh, guys. Then, to add on to that, defenders understand that they can't guard them too tight because although they're known for their shooting abilities, they can just as easily take the rock to the rim and finish at the basket or go for the mid-range. Steph is completely underrated when it comes to finishing at the rim, and I'll prove it to you. First, I got to ask you a question, though. When it comes to guards finishing at the rim, who do y'all think is the best at this? Just take a wild guess. Who do y'all think is the best active guard when it comes to finishing at the rim? Kyrie. Right? I mean, if you ask 100 basketball fans who's the best guard when it comes to finishing at the rim, I'm sure that over 90 of them would say Kyrie. And, heck, I thought so, too. But check this out. I got these statistics off Basketball Reference for the year. So far, Kyrie has finished 72.5% off shots he takes at the rim. And then when it comes to shots that are 3 to 10 feet away, he's at 51.6%. Now, here are Curry's numbers at those same distances. He's finishing at 78.9% and 57.2%. Man, that's actually quite a significant gap. And I actually thought this was a category where Uncle Drew had the chef beat, but it turns out I was wrong. Anyway, just for fun, I decided to check out how Steph compares at finishing at Theorem with a 7-footer like Rudy Gobert. Well, here are Gobert's stats, and he finishes at 75.6%. So not only is Steph the best shooter in the league today, but he finishes at the rim better than an athletic 7-footer, for crying out loud. Klay Thompson, on the other hand, while he's a prolific rim finisher like Steph, he took a page out of his idol's books. Although not quite as good as Kobe, has become quite a deadly mid-range fadeaway shooter. I mean, anytime he has a smaller defender on him and he's, like, within 10 feet of the basket, that's automatic. So, at this point, the opposition has to defend against two elite shooters who are always in motion and whose teammates are looking to set them up and who can finish in a myriad of ways. But wait, I ain't finished yet. Now, one of the last reasons why the Splash Brothers are still unguardable in 2023 is because of the threat of the pool party. Now, I know JP3 has been completely inconsistent this year and is a gamble every game. But in games where he plays smart and doesn't take wild shots and just plays to his strengths, the defenders now have to worry about another player who has the ability to play just like them. I think Paul George said it best here when he said so. When I seen him year 2, I was like, wow. I literally was like, damn, it apostrophe s. 3 of them now. So, yeah, guys, honestly, worrying about 2 bucket getters is already incredibly hard. But now when you add a third one to the mix, it literally becomes impossible to game plan for, especially when they run all that split action hat Steve Kerr employs in the offense anyway. It's clear that the modern NBA hasn't been able to formulate a defense yet to counter Splash Brothers and Warriors yet. Actually, maybe the Kings have, because, as they say, the best defense is a good offense. The Sacramento Kings in 2023 with former Warriors assistant coach Mike Brown have been able to take a lot of the factors that make the Warriors unguardable and have implemented them in Sacramento. And I'll leave you with one interesting fact: they no way the highest scoring average in the last 40 years.